सम्यक् समाधिनिरतैर्विमलान्तरङ्गे साक्षादवेक्ष्य निजतत्त्वमपारसौख्यम् सन्तुष्यते परमहंसकुलैरजस्रम् यद्ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि केवलबोधमात्रम्।
ॐ नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः। हरिः ॐ इत्येतद्यस्य बुधैर्नाम गृहीतम् यद्भासेदं भाति समस्तं वियदादि यस्य ज्ञातस्वस्वपदस्थाविधिमुख्याहं तं प्रत्यञ्जं दक्षिणवक्त्रं कलयामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपार सच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नां अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। As the part of our Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna, almost for a month we have been listening to Bhagavad Pada Sankaracharya's life and teachings. For last 2 or 3 days we have been looking at the Haristuti. The knowledge of the self Atma Jnana is the remedy for all the maladies of life. This is the message. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi reconciles all the sampradaya in that, even Vishishtadvaita, Advaita, whatever may be the path, all of them accept Atmajnana, self-realization. After that, what happens? Only in that there is argument. So Bhagavan says, first have it. First know what is the real nature of the I. It is some mantra which you are constantly having within you. I. Bhagavan even calls it the real fetus. It is the thing that lies inside the womb, around which the body has grown. Karuvamahantai. So this I thought, this feeling of individual sense, what is its real nature? We are seeing, we are listening, we are eating, we are enjoying. Pashyan shrinman atra vijanan rasayan sam jigran bibraddeham jivataya itham ityatmanam yam vidurisham vishayajñam tam samsaradhvanta vinasham Harimeede. Pashyan shrinvan vijanan rasayan jigran bibrat deham imam jivati. Jivataya. Someone is seeing through the eyes, someone is listening through the ears, someone is smelling through the nose. Even when dreaming, you close all the senses, go to sleep, the inner world is open. Going on creating and looking at your own creation. The creator, the created, everything is same. Yes, supteshu jagarti. The Upanishad says, Kathopanishad, yes, supteshu jagarti kamam purusho nirmimanaham tadeva shukram tad brahma tadevamritam uchyate tasmin lokaha shritaha sarve tadunatyeti kashana etadvai tat. This is that. It's a very powerful mantra which says, yes, supteshu, when the person is asleep, jagrati, something is wakeful inside. And what does it do? Kamam purusho nirmimanaha. Desire after desire. Creation is happening. And that, the Shruti says, Shukram, that is the most purest Brahman. The entire creation rests in that. The power which is projecting the creation like a spider bringing the cobweb from within. Tadeva Shukram, Tat Brahma, Tadeva Amritam, that is immortal. Tasmin Lokaha Shritaha, in it the worlds exist. All the worlds exist. No one crosses that border, says the Shruti. Because you cross that border, even in deep sleep, nobody enters there. No one can enter there. Creation comes to an end there. Swapana antam, jagarita antam cha, ubhau yena anupashyati, mahantam vibhum atmanam matva dhiro na shochati. He is a dhira. The brave one, after knowing the Atmanam, the self, he no more grieves, no more suffers. What does he know? Swapnantam, the end of dream, or that which is hidden in the dream. Jagaritantam, that which is hidden in the Jagrat, wakeful state. Means what? One who is seeing through the eyes, one who is hearing through the ears, one who is smelling, one who is tasting, one who is feeling the touch of the skin, and the one who dreams and the one who sleeps, the Antaryami, the indweller, he is the subject. You have to corner down the attention to that, narrow down the attention to that. We are not interested in the world or in outward creation or outward things. Whatever may happen, let it happen. It is not our subject. Our subject is very clearly indicated. Turn it towards this, which is within the physical body, which is within the dream body, which is in the deep sleep. So that, who is that? Pashyan, Shrinvan. Pashyan means one who is seeing. Shrinvan, one who listens. Vijanan, one who knows. Rasayan, one who tastes. All these things will not happen for a dead body. Jigran, one who smells. Bibrad deham, having this body embodied. Jivataya iti atmanam yam viduhu isham. First of all, when for the modern thinking mind, even jiva is not accepted. But in the Karma Kanda portion or in many other philosophies, they accept the jiva. But Vedanta says it is not jiva, it is Ishvara. There is no jiva. Shadvargikam jighrati shadguneshaha. As Bhagavata says, he residing in the body is experiencing the 6 forms of things. 5 sensory things and the mind, imaginary thing. So he is the Parameshwara himself. As Gita also says, Pashyantam Parameshwaram. Tishtantam Parameshwaram. One who is residing in the body is Parameshwara. Jagradrishtyam Stula Padarthanathamayam Drishtva Swapne Thapi Sushuptau Sukha Nidram Ityatmanam Vikshyamudaste Chaturiye Tam Samsaradhvanta Vinasham Harimeede. In the waking state, that one truth in the waking state is known as Vishwa. In the dream it is Taijasa. In deep sleep it is Prajna. And the substratum for all the 3 states is Turiya. When you know the Turiya, there is neither waking nor dream nor deep sleep. That one non-dual essence alone is there. Once you know that, the darkness comes to an end. So this Hari we worship with Shraddha, Bhakti, with Vedanta Shastra. Koyam dehe deva iti tham suvicharya. Self-enquiry also here comes. Who is inside this body? What is this which is inside this body? Somebody is dead, the dead body is there. You can sit there and think. Yesterday he was walking. Yesterday he was talking. Perhaps yesterday he was running. Today you need 4 people to take that body to the cremation ground. No movement. Nobody is there inside to see, hear, touch. Who was seeing? Who was touching? Rupam, Ena, Rupam, Rasam, Gandham, Shabdan, Sparshan. You cannot ask the dead body. You have to ask this dead body. This is also, of course, inert. But something makes it alive. Who is this inside? Till he answers, ask. You are asking who is inside. Koyam dehe devaha. Who is this deva inside? Iti tham suvicharya. Thus inquiring, Jnata Shrota Mantayita Chaishahi Devaha. We have lived in a village where everyone knows everyone else. Now you live in an apartment, you do not know who is in the next apartment. So there, somebody dies, everyone will go there, assemble there, and the body will be taken to the cremation ground like that. So in my younger days, this Upanishad mantra all becomes very practical experiment. Sitting there and thinking, yesterday he was talking to me. Now nobody is there inside the body, they are taking him, burning. The fire is not burning him. He is not feeling the heat. What happened? What was there and what is not there now? You cannot ask the dead body, ask this body who is there inside, what is this I. Koyam dehe devaiti tham suvicharya Jnata Shrota Mantayita Chaishahi Devaha. He is the Jnata, he is the Shrota, he is the Mantayita. He is the knower, he is the listener, he is the thinker inside this body. Ityalochya jnamsha ihasmiti viduryam. Thus inquiring inside jnamsha. Jna means the knower, the awareness, which is inside, the knowing principle inside, that is me. Thus, samsara dhvanta vinasham Harimeede. Ramana Bhagavan said, inquire who am I? The same thing Sankaracharya puts it in a different way, that's all. Bhagavan directly, in a simple way, directly said, something is inside this body constantly. I very much wonder why such a simple teaching took so many thousands of years to come out. Because that itself shows how complex we have become due to learning. To ask a simple question, thousands of years, constantly we are saying, of course, everybody says, who am I, it's all there. But the I, the feeling of I, it is all there in Sankaracharya's teaching. Everywhere it is there. In Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavad Pada says, Prakriti Vikriti Bhinnaha, Shuddha Bodha Swabhavaha, Sadasadidamashesham Bhasayan Nirvisheshaha, Vilasati Paramatma, Jagradadishvavastasu, Aham iti Sakshat, Sakshirupena Buddhehe. All teachers have told. But Bhagavan stood focused on that. What is this I? About which alone you are sure. You are not sure about God, you are not sure about anything else, but you are sure about your existence as I. And what is this I? So, the same thing in an indirect way here he is asking, who is inside this body? Who is thinking? Who is seeing through the eyes? Thus, inquiring, the I vanishes into the infinite awareness. And viduhu isham, it is no more the ego, it is the isha, it is the ishvara there. The I thought vanishes, revealing isha, ishvara. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham Harimeede. Kohyevanyad atmani nasyadayameshaha hevananda praniti chapaniti cheti ityastitvam vakti upapatya shrutiresham tam samsaradhvanta vinasham Harimeede. Who is inside this body? Who is eating food? Who is enjoying? Who is taking breath? See, when the body is alive, this prana, this breath goes inside, very busy. Going inside, it's just like you go inside Arunachaleshwara temple, worship Kambatalayanar, then that center, and ultimately go to the Shri Kovil, then come round and come out. Like that, the breath also, the moment Ishvara has manifested in the body, it is the devotee. It goes inside through the nostril, enters the entire body, does a pradakshina and comes out to the other nostril. Kazhakku Gopuram, Merakku Gopuram. It comes out. Sometimes overcrowded comes through some other Gopuram also. So that also happens. So this prana is so busy. After the person is dead, you blow it with, they keep artificial breathing. Nothing goes inside. You can just keep blowing. Hospital people, they are asking, when should we take it? They say, today is not good. Today is our Paurnami, we will take today. Or this day is good, that day, but gone. So no breath will enter inside. But now, when it is alive, the prana, such an intelligent principle, is so busy going inside and doing its job. Hridi pranaha, gudeyapanaha, samano nabhimandale, udana kantadeshastaha, vyana sarva sharirakaha. It goes to the heart, makes the heart beat, it makes the blood flow, it works in every center in the body, digestion, evacuation, everything. And it goes out. Such busy work. But after the jiva, that chetana is gone, even you cannot force prana to go inside. Nothing will happen. So, praniti cha apaniti cha iti astitvam vakti upapatya shrutiresha tam samsara dhvanta vinasham Harimeede. In this stava, Bhagavad Pada is quoting various Shruti Vakyas, like Taittiriya Shruti, Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, like that. So, if we take this Harimeede-stava one by one, we will take one of the Upanishad mantra, and with that you can expand on this shloka. But now we are not doing that, just one shloka sample, that's all. So, yesterday we saw Sankaracharya's life. Where is Sankaracharya now? Kashmir. So, Kashmir is the sacred land where Maharshi Kashyapa had performed penance. River Vitasta flows through this land, overflowing its banks. Sarada-Kshetra was an important institution of learning situated nearby. Even now we have that Sarada-Kshetra, but not inside. It is in the Pak-occupied Kashmir. So, no renovation is possible. Now Sringeri Swami went there, Sannidhanam went there, and they have, I think they have built a small temple, new temple. So, there were several centers of institution. Sarada-Kshetra is like a big university. And in the center is Sharada Devi. Sharada is Saraswati, Brahma Vidya Swarupini. Actually, Sharada means the expanded, pure form of intellect. Sharada means Vaisharadi, Sati Vishuddha Buddhihi, Vaisharadyam. Tu Vainasti Bhede Vicharatam Sada. As Mandukya Karika says, Vaisharadyam there means purity. True purity comes when one knows the non-dual truth. When you know everything is absolutely pure because everything is divine, then with that Advaita Jnana, real purity comes, says Gaudapada Acharya. One person asked Anandamayima that you say that everything is pure Brahman, but then can we drink the sewage water? Her answers are always spontaneous. She said, why not? As a pig you can drink. You can take that body and drink. Why not? The pig is drinking. And like Chavanaprasham, it becomes very strong, very healthy. And we saw somewhere near Shukatal, when we were going to Shukatal, it is in between Delhi and Haridwar, one village, full drainage water, and children are playing inside. It's all a question of getting used to, that's all. Many things that we are eating, it is much worse than that. Still we are surviving somehow. So, it's all a question of ignorance. The ignorance, sometimes you think that this is not good. Snake bite is an example. Mostly they say people die because of fear. And sometimes you take the bitten person to some mandravadi, he will escape. Not because of mantram, but because of his faith. Because most of the snakes don't have poison. Very rarely a poisonous snake bites. So, there also you can see, if the person is afraid, that affects. So the knowledge has so much power that when you have true knowledge, when you have the conviction about the non-dual essence, the person becomes absolutely fearless, abhayam. When Janaka attained that knowledge, Yajnavalkya said, abhayam vai Janaka praptosi. O Janaka, you have attained abhayam, fearlessness. Because there exists nothing for you to fear. Dvitiyad vai bhayam bhavati. From the second fear comes. From the other fear comes. For the other you need thoughts. For your own existence you don't need thoughts. Have you ever observed that? Anything the other, you need thought. Even the I is a thought. But your essence, existence is not a thought. When you have to deal with the other is always a problem. Even me is a problem, because me is another thing. In deep sleep, the me also vanishes. The I also vanishes. The I is also another. It is also anya. And Kathopanishad says a jnani is ananya, no anya. No anya means what? The I also is not real for him. Actually, without the I thought operating, you cannot function in the world. Only thing for a jnani, its reality is gone. The jiva bhava, reality is gone. And the jiva bhava will continue like a dagdharajju, that is what they say, like a burnt rope. It will function for continuing the prarabdha. But it will have no ill effects. Because you know that it is not real. You know that it is not real. So, this knowledge of the Advaita, that Advaita Jnana, is Vaisharadyam. Our topic is Sharada actually. It's Vaisharadyam. Then the Vaisharadyam is not possible when you are having dualistic ignorance. Bheda buddhi. That is what Karika says. Vaisharadyam tu vainasti bhede vicharatam sada. So, now coming back to the story. There were several centers in the institution corresponding to all the branches of knowledge that prevailed in Bharata at that time. This was not merely a university like Nalanda or Takshashila. It was a temple. With the strong presence of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Now we are not elaborating on that subject. The king requested Acharya Bhagavad-pada to visit Sarada-Kshetra. Sarada-Kshetra was situated in a vast and expansive plain. It was surrounded by 7 snow-capped peaks, and the river Krishna Ganga flowed southward through the western part. River Madhumati, flowing on the eastern side, merges with Krishna Ganga, here with a gurgling sound. Several ponds in the area were considered to be filled with the power of deities who serve the Divine Mother Sharada Devi. The divine Sharada-Tirtha in their midst was the sacred location of goddess Sharada. It is actually not an idol, it's a pond, a tirtha. And its water was regarded potent enough to invoke intelligence. Many devotees are said to have acquired knowledge in all branches of learning by the grace of goddess, the embodiment of knowledge. It is also believed that some seekers had direct darshana of goddess Sharada here. The priests of the temple were great scholars. We can also say Sarada. Sharada also is right, Vaisharatyam, and Sarada, one who bestows the Sara, the essence, the cream of wisdom. The disciples of Acharya were eager to see the place. So the king of Kashmir met Acharya on the banks of Krishna Ganga, prostrated and requested him to visit the temple. The king was overjoyed when Acharya accepted the request. He sent messages throughout the country and also to Nepal to spread the news. Ceremoniously worship, the king decided to have the largest possible congregation of scholars there to ceremoniously worship Acharya as a Sarvajna. Sarvajna means omniscient, all-knowing. Actually, nobody can become all-knowing. Na sarvaha sarvam janati. Because the so-called knowledge itself is ignorance. So ignorance can have many varieties. So it is not possible to know everything. Somebody is having some ridiculous imagination and I want to know that, it's utter foolishness. So omniscience really means only the knowledge of the self, which is yes sarvajnaha, yes sarvavit. That is true omniscience. Considering this sarvajnatva of Sankaracharya, many, in fact, foolish stories are there. That Sankaracharya was asked to climb coconut tree and sing a song. All those things are there. So that is not sarvajnatva. Somebody asked Bhagavan, why you teach everybody only the knowledge of the self? They are all ignorant people, village people. If you could have given them some mantra or something, they would have benefited. Bhagavan said, Yanaki iduthaan theriyuvai. Bhagavan said, I know only this. Whoever knows whatever they knows, they can teach. I know only this much. And to Kunju Swami, Bhagavan once said, Kunju Swami wanted to learn Vedanta Shastra in the traditional way from Kovilur Math, the Tamil Sampradaya. So Bhagavan said, yeah, why? No, Bhagavan, see, people come here and they ask me some question. If I don't know, it is a disgrace for Bhagavan. So I will go to Kovilur Math and learn Vedanta. I thought so. Bhagavan said, oh, inneki Vedantam, naleki Siddhantam. Today you will learn Vedanta Shastra, tomorrow Shaiva Siddhanta. And then Vaishnavite scholars will come, then you have to know Vaishnava Dharma. Where will you end all these things? What have I learned? The only thing to be known is the Atma, the self within. I turned my attention within with the enquiry and abided there. All, whatever is necessary for you will come by that itself. You will get everything that is needed by that. Otherwise, it will have no end. This itching of brain, Chikirsha, Jitnyasa, they say, it will continue constantly. So, it is enough that you turn your attention inward, enquire and abide in the self. This is the instruction for a mumukshu, for a sadhaka. So, the real sarvajñatva is knowing the sarva means atma. Sarva means atma. It is everything, it is all. When you know that, you know, see, sarvajñatva is defined by the Upanishad like this. The yatha ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijñātam syāt. Vācārambhanam vikaro namadheyam mrittigetyeva satyam. When you know a clod of mud, one piece of mud, now you know everything made of mud. You know the pot, you know the vessel, you know the idol, you know the house, everything made with mud. You know mud is essence. Mrittigetyeva satyam. Like that, you know the supreme essence behind the creation, which is the basic stuff. Once you know that, then you know that everything is that. And that knowledge is sarvajñatva, not visheshajñānam. Visheshajñānam always have limitation. Certain people will have very powerful intellect, they will be knowing much more than ordinary people. That doesn't mean they know everything. Ultimately, whatever you know, someday you will forget everything. Sometimes people will forget their own name. I have heard stories where one person forgot his own identity and was waiting for Brahmins to do Shraddha for himself. Because he forgot. He was saying to his son, today the Brahmins will come to perform Shraddha. To whom? To his own name he told. He is dead. Very seriously. And there are stories where great authors forgot their identity and they were reading their own book and wonderfully written. Who wrote this? Sometimes I myself will do. So recently also we were saying that this Ananda Magaranda song, one person brought one Malayalam song to me, and it is being depicted as Kathakali, and they got award or everything. So he said this thing got award, and he showed it to me. He said, oh, it's very beautiful and the song is very beautiful. They were laughing. I said, why are you laughing? It is your Ananda Shivastava. I could not recognize. So, our own writing we will forget. Our own things we will forget. Sometimes fathers forget their children. One person had 8 children, and very often I used to ask him, who is your first? He will skip 2 or 3 and say the third name. Then I asked, why you left out all these 2 or 3? Oh, so many years have passed. Very easily he says that. So, when the brain becomes weaker, all this knowledge that we have collected all becomes meaningless. So, what to speak about Sarvajñatva, knowing everything in the world? So that doesn't sound very powerful. But in Sankaracharya's case, he was an Acharya, so he is expected to know many things. Like Swami Vivekananda also had so much of power of intellect. Anything, just to turn it towards that knowledge comes. So for the Acharyatva, Ishvara manifests through them with very powerful intellect. So they might be knowing many things. Like this Kanchi Paramacharya, he will speak to everyone about their Shastra. Sometimes to sculptors, sometimes to musicians, to even to a cook. Sometimes musicians will wonder where he got this knowledge about music. So everywhere it's like reflecting whoever comes before him, he will reflect him. So that kind of Sarvajñatva was there. So Bhagavad Pada also accepted this invitation, and there is a sacred kunda, tirtha there, Bhagavati kunda. With that they will perform abhisheka to the person who won all the debates there. So the king sent messages to all the neighboring places and all through India perhaps. The group of Acharyas devotees stayed on the bank of Krishna Ganga, waiting almost a month for the king's formal invitation. Meanwhile, the king completed all the arrangements in the temple for the great event and for the grand festival of Saraswati. Groups of people started pouring into Kashmir to witness the spectacle. The king went in person to formally invite Acharya to the Sharada temple. Acharya and group walked towards the temple with king leading Acharya with the Purna Kumbha, accompanied by chants of the 4 Vedas in front, and the music of Hastaveena, Mridanga, Shringa, Venu, the Shankha. All these are old musical instruments. Sudhanva and his followers went along with the Digvijaya group as their escorts. Several other kings had also arrived there. Acharya reached the southern part of the divine temple, which had several magnificent gateways. In fact, they say the southern gate was kept closed because nobody from southern India went there. So then, Samshravayan Adhvani Deshikeन्द्raha Shri Dakshinadwaram Dwarabhuvam Prapede. This is Shankara Vijaya. The majestic entry of the divine sage, accompanied by Brahmanishtas like Padmapada, Sureshwara, Hastamalaka, Totaka, Chitsuka and Chidvilasa, thrilled the hearts of all witnessing it. Padmapada and Chitsuka fanned Acharya on either side. Samit Pani held the umbrella from behind, and Sureshwara followed. At the southern gateway, the king prostrated and said, "The land of Kashmir has become pure and holy upon your arrival. You are Lord Shiva himself, the ruler of Kashmir, offers humble prostrations to yourself and disciples. Swagadam te Mahayogin." I think Tamil language oru nalla paattu edo irukku nenikiren. After the traditional welcome with Padya, Argya, etc., the sacred fire was kindled by churning fire twigs in the presence of Acharya. This marked the inauguration of the congregation. So there was a lot of debates, Shastra Charcha, like all the Shastras, Sankhya, Purvamimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga. About all the Shastras there were discussions. In the end, all scholars present there reverentially welcomed Acharya to the Saraswati Kunda. Holding Padmapada's hand, Acharya entered the temple with a smile. Sureshwara was on the right side, while Totaka and Hastamalaka followed behind. The sounds of musical instruments resonated all sides. Everyone loudly applauded Acharya. Vijayino bhavantu Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpadaha. Just before entering, Chitsuka washed Acharya's feet. The king and the queen worshipped Acharya in the traditional manner with Padya and other ceremonies and sprinkled the water on all present. After this, Bhagavatpada visited the Saraswati Tirtha and in his majestic voice chanted the divine hymn from Saraswati Rahasya. Nihara hara ghanasara sudhakarabhyam kalyanadam kanakachampakadama bhusham uttungapina kuchakumbha manoharangim vanim namami manasa vachasa vibhuti ya vedantartha tattvaika swarupa parameshwari namaste Sharade Devi Kashmira Puravasini. There is one work of Sankaracharya, Prapanchasara Tantra. In that, Acharya worships Saraswati as Shabda Brahmamayi. Her body is made of all the Shabdas, the voice, the sound, that primordial sound. Shabda Brahman. So, Akachatata Payadaihi Saptabhir Varnavargaihi Virachita Mukha Baha Pada Madhyakya Hritkam Sakala Jagadadhisham Shashvata Vishwayonihi Vitaratu Parishuddhim Chetasaha Sharadavaham. Like that. Ka, ka, kha, cha, cha, cha. Like that. A, ka, cha, ta. All the first letters. So it means all the letters, that Shabda. Acharya then seated himself near the Kunda. Padmapada and other disciples also worshipped Devi. After this, the king came with his son and performed Abhisheka with the waters of Saraswati Tirtha. The scholar in charge of performing the worship at Saraswati Kunda also did puja to Acharya. Many felt the presence of innumerable rishis in their astral forms. Acharya, who was Maheshwara in the form of a sannyasi and revered by all, remained calm and unaffected. Sarada-Kshetra susnataha Visharada Mahamatihi Sarvaihi Vandita Charano Viraraja Yatishwaraha. Thus ends the 50th chapter, Sopanam. In the 51st chapter, Acharya gave the following Upadeśa to the devotees. According to the Shruti, omniscience is the very nature of the Purusha. Yes, Sarvaknyaha Sarvavid, which you have already spoken about. So, the real Jnanam is Atma Jnanam. When the self is known, samsara ceases. The knower recognizes the absolute absence of misery in the self. Words and cogitations that do not lead to self-knowledge are merely theories that lead to delusion. Shabdajalam Maharanyam. Vivek Chudamani. Sankaracharya says this illusion created by words. It is like a deep forest. Chitta Brahmana Karanam. The mind gets deluded. If you enter there, mind gets deluded. So, Nanu dhyayet bahun shabdan vacho viglapanam hitat. The Upanishad says, if you hear so many things, the mind gets distracted, scattered. So, know the self, listen about the Atman, or whatever helps you to purify the mind. Then turn the attention towards your own real nature. Inquire, who am I? What is my real nature? Turn the attention towards the I am within and abide there. This is the wise thing to do. Otherwise, if the person gets into the wilderness of words, so many things, it is very difficult to come back, because the mind gets totally scattered, because the necessary thing is shanti, it is silence. Of course, if you suffer by too much mental oscillation, then you will thirst for shanti. Like a person wandering in a desert thirsts for water, like that, too much thinking, you are burnt your brain with thinking, then there will be a thirst for that coolness, that shitalata. Then certainly the inner thirst, longing will come. Shruti vipratipannate yadastasyati nishala samadhau achala buddhihi tada yogam avapsyasi. In Gita, Bhagavan says, by listening and arguing and thinking and knowing about so many contradictory things from the world or from the scriptures, the mind, one moment it has clarity, another moment it is confused, another moment it is wondering about things. By collecting so many things, the brain like a pendulum goes here, there, here, there, here, there. At last, it gets fed up. It wants to become quiet. That is the right moment when the intellect itself chooses the path of surrender. All its intellectual arrogance comes to an end because it is fed up. You can go to Himalayas or you can come to Padala, underneath the ocean. At last you find nothing is touching me. So many varieties of knowledge, so many things are there, but the real essence, my essence, existence, I want that. I want that shitalata, that shanti, that peace. When the person chooses that, the buddhi becomes still, nishala. Yada sthasyati nishala samadhau, that is samadhi. And enough of all this. So the buddhi decides, I want to be in maunam. Pandityam nirvidya balyena tishtaset maunam gachet. The Shruti says, the mind becomes, it finds taste in that real maunam, the real profound inner silence. So then it is ready for that ultimate leap. Bhagavan says in Gita, then the intellect is ready for sthita prajñatva. It knows that ekatattva and abides there. Knows that, see, in Bhagavan's life, you do a research, we can find that so many births he had all the datas of sleep that you can do. No? Something is here, something is there, go and inquire here. No illusion at all, no delusion. You have seen everything and you know everything, and now you have no delusion about anything. Like a person who has gone and seen that there is no water in mirage. Like that, true vairagya comes by so many births. The person has gone and seen the things as they are, and no more delusion about them. And the intellect is ready to be quiet, to abide in the self. So, Ataha prayatnat jnatavyam. All one's effort is for knowing the self. Tattvajnaihi or tattvajnat, tattvam atmanaha. From a true knower of the self, the person knows the Atman, the self, one's real nature, and abides in one's true nature. So this is the essence of the Shruti. Tamevaikam janatha atmanam anyavacho vimunjatha amritasesha setuhu. One word you can say the whole essence of the Upanishads. Know the self alone, and give up all other sensory pursuits. Then this is the royal road to immortality. So aparavidya is avidya, says the Upanishad. Worldly knowledge for a mumukshu. As long as you are working in the world, you need worldly knowledge. But the person has chosen this path, even the Vedas are now no use for him. Karmakanda Veda Bhaka also is no use for him. So, therefore Shruti says, avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya amritam ashnute. By avidya, that is by karma, one must rise above death and transcend the body. Aparavidya will lead to success in the realm of karma, in the world, and the other. But the goal is purity of mind, chitta shuddhi. So when you perform the action as offering to the divine, then the mind becomes pure. In the pure mind, the knowledge of the self dawns, and then the person becomes free. So this is, Bhagavad Pada gives this teaching here. Aparavidya, which consists of karma and upasana, is not capable of making one directly aware of the truth. Brahmavidya alone can do this. The seeker of the highest order must grasp the truth from the Guru. An ardent seeker, mumukshu, is one who has dispassion towards all that is ephemeral and attainable through sadhanas, and who is endowed with virtues such as shama, calmness of the mind, and dhamma, control of senses. Brahmavidya must be certainly imparted to such spiritually ripe souls. Bruyat punaha punaha yavad grahanam dridhi bhavati. Until the truth is known firmly, one must repeatedly instruct the seekers with compassion. Dridhagrihita hi vidya atmana shreyase santatyecha bhavati. Upadeśa Sahasra it comes. Atma Vidya will bestow beatitude and last forever only when firmly imbibed. The knower will be a blessing for all creatures, as a boat is for ferrying across the river. One person has known the truth, he is a blessing for the entire world. This is why Bhagavan says in Gospel, what is the greatest service one can do? Bhagavan said, to realize the self. Shruti says, Acharyaha plavayita tasya samyak jnanam plavaha. Acharyaha plavayita. Acharya is the captain. What can we say? Helmsman. He is the helmsman. But in a ship, it is not a helmsman. What will you call ship, one who drives the ship? Captain, then? No driver. So Acharyaha plavayita. Acharya is the guide. And what is the plavam? Plavam means what is the boat? Samyak jnanam plavaha. The true knowledge of the self is the boat with which you are going to cross. You need a good boat, and that is the knowledge. If the compassionate masters were not there to show the way, how can jnana ever be attained? Sudhanva, the king, he is asking, Lord, what can the disciple give in return to the compassionate Guru? Acharya said, Shruti proclaims. When king, actually this happens in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. When Janaka tells that I will give you 1,000 cows with all the cows, their horn decorated with gold. And one place he says, I can give you more land. Many things he again and again offers with joy. Because he got so much knowledge, he again and again, the king wakes up, stands and says, I will give you this, I will give you that. Then Yajnavalkya was not tempted. He said, Yadyapyasma imam adbihi parigrihitam dhanasya purnam dadyat etadeva tato bhuyaha tato bhuyaha. Even if one gives wealth equal to the whole earth, the earth which is surrounded by ocean, it will not be adequate. Indeed, this is more than that, much more than that. He tells Janaka. So, and at last Janaka says, I am giving you this Mithila, this my country. It is not yours. And then he says, I am surrendering myself to you. Then Yajnavalkya says, Janaka abhayam vai praptosi. O king, now you have attained fearlessness. As long as you are keeping this eye with you, fear is there. The moment you give up the eye, no more fear. Abhayam vai janaka praptosi. You have attained fearlessness. So, a disciple who has thus obtained this great treasure of knowledge, much more great treasure of knowledge from the Guru, must not waver even a bit from the truth due to inattentiveness. He must meditate on the self and remain established therein. Another disciple asked Samitpani, Lord, what should one do if he sees that the disciple does not grasp what is heard? They are also teachers. So they says, you teach many and you can very well see they are blinking. Nothing goes inside. What should we do? Acharya said, yes. When the listener's mind fails to enter the portal of truth, the Guru can certainly infer it through certain signs. See, they are teachers who teach one and one. See, so you can find out whether the disciple has grasped or not. The common reasons for this failure are worldly thoughts, indolence due to attachment to objects, lack of discrimination, pride in one's lineage, caste, etc., excessive desire for objects of senses, craving for fame and name, eating forbidden food, excess sleep, pride of scholarship in Shastras, and so on. Big list is given. If all these are there, listening will not work. The only antidote for this is constant contact with the wise. Satam sangohi bheshajam. The only medicine is satsanga. It is the bheshajam, which slowly removes today or tomorrow. Somewhere Swami Vivekananda says, my words are like a corrosive substance. It will burn its way into you. If it is very hard, it will slowly do it. But if it is very soft, instantaneously it will do it. It is like a corrosive substance. It will blaze its way, it will burn its way. So the truth, the only thing that we do is, you cannot help the Mahavakya, but you can certainly obstruct by these flaws. If these flaws are not there, it will directly speak to the inner being. So, what are the restrictions for seekers regarding food? Shruti says, Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti, smriter lambhe sarvagrantinam vipramoksha, tasmai mridita kashayaya tamasaha param darshayati bhagavan sanatkumara, tam skanda ityachakshate, tam skanda ityachakshate. The Chandogya Upanishad says, you can have a paradigm shift in listening if your mind is pure. The mind becomes pure when your food is pure. The food should be pure. Because the food eaten becomes in threefold form, it influences you. The grosser part goes out as fecal matter. The middle portion becomes the flesh, the muscle, everything. And the subtle part, which comes from various sources, sometimes by the very nature of the food, sometimes by one who cooks, sometimes by the intention behind. All this mental stuff influences the subtlest part of the food. So, अन्नमशितं त्रेधा विधीयते तस्य यस्थविष्टो धातुः तत्पुरीशं भवति यो मध्यमः तन्मांसं यो निष्ठः तन्मनः. The subtlemost part becomes the mind. So when the food cooked, you cook it and you offer it as offering to the Bhagavan and take it as naivedya, nivedita ahara, prasada, as purified. First of all, the food itself should be pure, and how you accrue the food, that is also very important. The motive must be very pure. And very difficult. See, one more thing they say, the money with which you buy food, that also should be pure. So if all that is pure, the food itself is a potent thing to give you spiritual experience. It can become a mantra. No other mantra you do so many times, from morning to night, always loading. So if it can become a mantra, it has great power. It is called Prana-Agnihotra. It is an Agnihotra. It is the Prana-Agnihotra. Upanishad says it is Prana-Agnihotra. So if you can deify food, you can make it a spiritually potent thing. The food itself is pure. It is purified by offering to the divine. Every aspect. And another aspect is not only what you take through the mouth, but what you absorb through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose, through touch. When everything becomes pure, whatever you eat through all the senses, they become pure. The mind gains purity. Mridita Kashaya. Kashaya means impurity. Mridita Kashaya means one whose impurity is removed, cleansed. Then Tamasah Param Darshayati. The Guru is able to show him the other shore of darkness, where he is free of darkness, where he can make him behold effulgence very easily, provided there is purity. Tamasah Param, and that Guru is called Skanda, because he can instantaneously give you realization. This Skanda Vidya is what Bhagavan did. One look, one word. Turn your attention towards yourself. Because those who got it, they were so ripe. Like Muruganar, when they came, Muruganar says, Bhagavan did not even give me time even to close my eyes. Before that it happened. Because he was so ripe. With so much bhakti he came. So one moment, one shift. Hence Bhagavan is called Skanda Ityachakshade. He is Skanda. One word from him, it gives you realization, illumination. Tam Skanda Ityachakshate. Tam Skanda Ityachakshate. It is Sanat Kumara, Skanda. So when the ahara is pure, the person can attain. So one disciple asks, Lord, Brahma Sutra mentions Sarvannanumatisya pranatteye tad darshanat. If there is danger to life, one must take any food and protect one's life. There is a sutra there. Nahava evam vidi kinchana annam bhavati, anannam bhavati. For the jnani, nothing pollutes him, corrupts him. For such a knower, nothing affects him. for livelihood. If he cannot survive without that, that is okay. Then Acharya says that is not correct. It applies only to exceptional occasions and can be practiced only when life is in danger. Jividatyayamapannaha, says the Smriti. And especially for monks, sannyasis, they must never consume meat. Like certain Buddhist sects, they do. Even if it is obtained as bhiksha, you should not consume meat. One must live with discrimination, otherwise there will be downfall. Acharya thus cleared many doubts as and when they arose. It was King Sudhanva who was the most delighted about the ascent of Acharya on Sarvajñapīఠa. The other kings of Chalukya dynasty honored Sudhanva with the title of Rajamanya for the service he rendered to Acharya. Now there is very beautiful conversation, teaching part again. Then they move to other places also. We will continue the Satsanga tomorrow.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva,
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.